Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Parvathy.
Hi, I'm Shreya.
I'm Rhea.
Hi. Uh, I'm
Hi, I'm
Atharv.
Abby.
And we are Team Imagine. Team Imagine is a project that we started to originally spread awareness on autism spectrum disorder. Now, as our project expands, we are focusing more on the empowerment aspect. Joining us today is Miss Anandhi, the founder of Pure Hearts of Georgia organization. Thank you so much for meeting with us.
It's my
So,
pleasure. Actually, I went and checked your website and all that. You guys are doing an amazing job. I can't be more proud of you. We need more people like you to help us, actually. We need to get some advice and suggestion from you because you are the future for us. So I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
thank you so much. So, to start off, could you give us a quick introduction of Pure Hearts of Georgia and what it is you do with the organization?
Yes, sure. So Pure Hearts is a non-profit organization. We got our 501c3 certification in the year 2019. We started getting the idea around 2017. So it is like formed by a bunch of parents, including me. I founded it, but there is a bunch of parents, like actually 6 of them, who actually drive the whole thing from the scratch, everything they're doing. So all of us have kids with autism. My son Krishiv Ganesh is 17 years old this year, and we have several more. So the reason why we founded it is because there is a lot of need for our children, and there is, like, I myself know, like, personally 250 families who thought that this would be a good idea to have something for us, so that the kids can be doing some activities together, as well as the parents can find their support network within each other. So that was a whole point about forming the Pure Hearts. So why the word Pure Hearts is because we did come up with a lot of other names. And when we thought about these children and the individuals who are even older, like adults, like we have adults also who are like 20 and above. So when we thought about them, we were thinking, they have that such like innocent people who really cannot lie, cannot cheat. They have those pure hearts than any of us, actually. Because they only take things as they go, and they really don't really contrive or lie or anything. They cannot be dishonest and stuff like. So how pure their hearts are, that is what drove that name, Pure Hearts. So what we do at this point is we started in 2019, and that time it was all good because there was no COVID. So we were doing a lot of skill-based activities and like art club, like fitness sessions and other things for our children in person for varied age groups. So we have like a 5 to 8 age group, 5-year-old to 8-year-old, and then we have like a 8-year-old to 12-year-old, a 12-year-old to 16-year-old, 16 and above. So we have varied age groups. So each group is run by different set of parent volunteers mostly, and as well as teen volunteers like you guys, whoever is going to high school here or college going people, everybody comes and does sessions and for our kids, mostly for free. And they come and they do the sessions, and the kids learn whatever they can during those sessions. And what our idea initially was to actually do a show called Dream Show, which we did in 2019 in Duluth High School. So it was a huge success. There was a lot of audience. So that was the main aim when we started this, but now we are branching out to different other options. But the first thing we did was a show where 55 of our children went on the stage and performed with the help of volunteers mostly. So that show was well received by varied communities, and everybody came, and they really applauded these kids, and the kids' parents and the kids were really enjoying the whole idea. So that was the first thing we did that year. And after that, we couldn't continue it until this year because 2 years we had this COVID thing.
So I know you already answered this, but what specifically inspired you, or what factors inspired you to create your organization?
Okay, so the answer is going to be a little different. I know it's actually a kid and adult based, individuals on spectrum based organization, but actually, the reason why we started is because um, when you have this child as a parent, I'm talking about, like when you have this kind of
Miss Anandhi, you were lagging
child,
a little.
yeah, I mean, all of us want children who are like really doing well. Can you hear me?
You were lagging a little while you were answering the first
I
part.
think it's the internet connection.
Yeah, we can hear you clearer now.
Okay. I think it's my internet connection. I think there is a lot of wind and rain and snow in Georgia right now. That's part of the problem. Okay. So what happens disability? Most of the parents go in denial. They don't come out, they don't talk about it, they go seclude themselves from the society, and they are afraid to come out to, like, because they don't want to tell the world that the kid has an issue. So especially a developmental issue, mental health issue is really hard for them to accept and move on. So when you have such kind of communities like Pure Hearts, for those parents, we make it like a clear path, like, hey, you know what, you belong here, so you can come out and talk to us and kind of get suggestions, like information, resources. We can be your mentors because we have lived this life. So we are older parents who can guide you through what you can do next for your child, for his or her well-being. And what kind of therapies are available, what kind of information and resources are available in Georgia, so where you can come and kind of build a network, like a set of friends, or more like families, so that we can be together. That's the whole point about Pure Hearts. Honestly, it's created more for the families, to empower the entire family, not just the child. Do you want to know anything else?
So how have you developed your organization over the years and expanded it to where it is today?
Okay, so that actually dates back to 2008, honestly, because I moved from California and my child was 3 years old. And that time I came here and I was alone. I had nobody here. I mean, I don't have any relatives in Georgia, nor I have any friends in Georgia, anybody. So I didn't know anybody. But we had to move because of my husband's job. So when I came here, I felt that there is serious lack of such groups where we can belong and meet other parents and be open about what we feel, and finding information and all that. So I started finding certain, I started going to some of the groups which was available at that point, and we kept meeting some of the friends there, and we kept talking. So it was like when we started it, like 2009, it was like a five families group. That's about it. It was not more than five families. And after that, we kept on increasing the number of people, because we go to therapy places, we go to schools, we meet all these people, other families. So it became bigger and bigger, and the word spread, and it went to a point where almost like all the parents wanted to know more information, and they want to belong somewhere, and they wanted to do kids play dates and all the other things they want to do. And they want to see, they want to belong where they can, because they cannot belong anywhere else. So that's when I think people started coming in more. So slowly I could see that the WhatsApp group I started, it had like 20 people at one point in 2010, but then it grew to 200 people at some point. So it just grew fast, because I think the diagnosis rate is also has increased over the years. That is part of the thing too. Not a good thing, but unfortunately that is norm right now. Like all the families, I know, I mean, honestly, everywhere, people know somebody, like a relative or a friend's child who has autism or any other developmental disability right now. So there was a definite need for it, and people started realizing that. So they wanted to form a community, and the only thing I did different was that, okay, you know what, we just don't keep talking about it. We should just do the paperwork and start it. That's all I did. So it's just that who's putting the bell on the cat kind of stuff, So everybody kept talking about it, but I just went ahead and did it. That's all. So there is a lot of need, and I'm pretty sure there are going to be more such organizations in future, because there are a lot of diagnoses coming up. It has really increased from 1 is to 150 at one point to right now it's like, I think with boys it's 1 is to 45. So it's a lot of growth for this kind of autism rates, as well as other developmental disability rates. There are a lot of people who are going to have special needs in the future.
So our next question is, so we have been in a pandemic. So how has COVID-19 impacted your organization, and how have you overcome the challenges that COVID-19 created?
With the COVID, actually, yes, it did create a lot of problem at the one point, like not just for us, I would say, as an organization. I think it has created an really deep impact for many other organizations. I mean, any normal person, honestly. So what we did at that point was we started like Zoom sessions, like just like everybody else. So we did like Zoom yoga, fitness, and music sessions, which actually we ended up continuing even now. It still didn't stop, so it's still going on. Um, so actually, because the children and the adults who were going to various services and therapies and schools, they were all home, they kind of took upon it. So I myself ran like a 3-month fitness session, and it was a huge success. And there were like about 25 to 30 people at every day who used to come and attend that. And then we had yoga sessions almost like 3 days a week. Fitness sessions were like about all 5 days a week. And music session is once in a week. And we also had some art, drawing, cooking sessions for once in a week. So all these were going on simultaneously because people had nowhere to go, nothing to do. So they were taking upon it. And it was going very well for that whole of 2020 and beginning of 2021. Once I think we got the vaccination and people were ready to go, I think the Zoom kind of lost its charm. People wanted to meet other people and they really wanted to go in person. So that's where we are moving now. So we have overcome it very well, actually. But during that period, it was a struggle for a lot of families in general, because, I mean, as I said, that there are a lot of people who took up on the Zoom very well, but there are also problems like, some kids won't really take a Zoom session very well and really perform. So some kids need like a one-on-one help to do those activities. So if both the parents are working, it's going to be hard for them to really support the child. So there are a lot of families who are really struggling, and we couldn't really not a lot of help can be done because we are not supposed to go and meet other people at that point. So a lot of kids, I would say, really regressed at that point, and that is really overwhelming for all of us at that point. Unless otherwise the parents are available all the time or the therapists are available all the time to help the child. And a lot of kids lost the therapies and all the other interventions too. So that was a little dark time until that year was done, and then I got the vaccination and stuff, and kids are starting back to school and stuff like that. But with the Pure Heart side, yeah, we stopped all our in-person activities, and the dream show couldn't be done, and there are a lot of activities we were planned which never happened. One such activity I'm very disappointed we couldn't do was we got our kids to actually paint some like flowering pots. We made them do bracelets together. All this happened prior to COVID in February, March. And we were planning to put it on sale in a mall here nearby called Global Mall. And they were supposed to go sell all that stuff and, try to make money and all that stuff. It was just for fun for the kids. So a lot of kids were involved in that. So some of this information, you can go back to those dates on our Facebook, it will be there. So we couldn't do it. We couldn't go ahead with it. So all of that just stopped, and we had to just stop all the activities. So yeah, COVID did put a lot of twists and turns. But we came back, and right now, from the I would say 2021 middle, we came back with our cricket sessions and other in-person sessions slowly. Now we are doing the table tennis and everything. So we are okay, back on track right now. I would say we are proud of ourselves. We are like, okay, now the kids are being engaged again. So happy to see that.
So, as a mother of a child with autism, how did COVID affect the way that you and your household functioned?
Okay, so with COVID, unfortunately, see, we both were working from home, which was a good thing to do. But since my son didn't have school, and all the other therapies, he couldn't meet people. So it mostly came upon me and my husband to actually watch him all the time and keep him busy. So when I say watch him, it's like he's going to be okay. He'll just sit on his iPad, um, watching the same video over and over again. But that is not a life. I want him to be a little bit more productive. So we had to come up with some like a routine for his day, like from start when he wakes up, what is he going to do every day from, I don't know, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So that was a bit of a challenge. So we tried to do like a lot of fitness activities, going for a walk, and probably just do some academics, do some yoga, do some art and craft. So has to be like a routine for him. So it was a little difficult. It was very challenging, I would say, those times. But I think we kind of um, managed it pretty well, because at the end of it, I would say like a year later, when I felt about it, I felt my son made the most progress that year than any other years, in my opinion, because I think he had a lot more time to learn other stuff, which we were not able to focus on when he is busy with his schools and other therapies. So I would say it's more like a long vacation we had, where we were teaching different kind of skill set to him than just focusing on the same thing we were doing over and over again over the period of years. So he had like a lot of emotional maturity during that time. That's what I would call it.
Do you guys have any performances at functions? How do you manage them?
Okay, so there is something called a Shiv Institute here in Georgia. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. So it's more like a dance school. So what they did was they took some of our kids in who can follow little directions. So they are doing their own. It's like a typical dance school, but they do for one session for special needs every Saturday. And I would say about 9 of our kids attend there right now, and they all are of varied ages from between 10 to 20. And they are more like a Bollywood dance people, so they actually teach some of the steps to these children, and we use those dances for some of the events we have. Other than that, I teach dance, and there are a couple more moms like me who teach dance. So what we do is we keep teaching them dances and other performances. Like some kids can play piano, some kids can do art, so we encourage them to, but that is more of a individual skill. Dance is more of like a group skill. So we teach and train them and keep them ready throughout the year. And when that particular event comes, like for example, we have one on April 30th for the Johns Creek International Festival. It's a local city festival, so we are going to perform there. So what we'll do is we'll start the kind of like a rehearsal 4 weeks earlier, and we'll keep practicing them. And mostly these children go with the like at least like a couple of volunteers who are like you guys on stage, who will actually mimic the moves, and then they will just follow along. But since they have the really good practice, some of them are able to actually remember, and they actually follow dance very well. So it's more about overcoming that anxiety and stage fear, I mean, these children don't have the words to express, so it's even harder for them to go and conquer the stage. You guys can imagine how difficult it is to conquer a stage. When you go there, when you start singing, you'll be like, oh my God, there is like so many audience and everybody is making noises. And you would have heard this, these children have that auditory and visual sensory differences. So they are going to have a lot more stimulation when it comes to stage performance and all that. So at this point, what we expect them to do most of the time, but then if they don't say anything, at least they were at a point where they went on the stage and they were able to at least stand. They don't have to perform, at least they overcame that anxiety and they were just standing there at least. But then there was a phase in this last 4 years, we have come to a phase where even the kid who just stood there is moving now, which is very good. Is, I wouldn't say is dancing like Prabhu. None of them are dancing like Prabhudev or anything, but at least they are moving and they are turning, they're twirling whenever they're supposed to. That's a huge step for them, and they, at the end of the time, they realize that, okay, everybody is applauding for us. So there is something going on. So they are able to connect a little bit slowly. It's coming along, but it's going to take like a huge time for them to overcome that stage anxiety and fear. So that is a lot of training involved on the background. And of course, the volunteers are of huge help because they sometimes kind of handhold them and they kind of like, okay, you don't dance. Okay, you know what? Come and move with me. I'll hold your hand and we will help you, guide you through how to dance and all that. So they come in handy really well and they are very well trained with this thing. So they understand what it is. So that is one thing. And then we have our own show, as I said, the Dream Show this year in September. So there are like a lot of varied spectrum of kids who cannot do much and who can do a lot. So we want to give opportunity and include everybody. It's an inclusive community we are trying to build. So some of the kids who cannot really dance or really sing or cannot do a piano, doesn't have that kind of skill, we do like fashion show or like a bucket drumming. So where what they can do is they can just show up, even walk with the parents or a sibling or a neighbor or a volunteer, whoever they want. And they can dress up and they just show up on the stage and like walking a ramp. And like I think many of the kids actually, especially the younger kids, they usually participate in the fashion show because they are not ready to conquer the stage yet. So mostly our dance groups go from 12 and above, and 12 are under kids, and some of the kids who have some real problems with understanding the auditory and the visual on the stage with the lighting, they cannot tolerate lighting. We don't put them too much on the stage. So we usually get them to walk on the ramp and then they just leave on the other side. So which kind of try to put like a varied things so that it's not too overwhelming for some of the children. But the parents do like to get them on stage, so we cannot put them too much. So we kind of modify everything according to them. We reduce the lights, we reduce the sounds, make them walk, and then once they leave, we increase the sounds again. So something like that.
So for the next question, how do you utilize social media for your organization to like spread your message?
Yeah, so if you have seen our Facebook, we're pretty big on that. It's all digital world right now. So I don't think we do like for print the flyers and stick it everywhere anymore like the olden days. So it's more on the Facebook, as well as we do email blasts and everything. And we have our own WhatsApp group, and we kind of welcome the community to join it too. So we have most of the updates, every other things, events we do, most of it is on Facebook and Instagram and all this social media stuff. And we do spread our news by going to such events I told you, like John's Creek Festival. We have a Tamil Sangam Festival. We have a Telugu Sangam Festival. We have a school-based festival. So we go and try to participate everywhere. So taking our kids, enroll them in the one of the performances or the show. And when we go there, they usually give some time for us to talk, like an intro. and we talk about what we do and how they can support us and everything. And also that we go to events and we put booths, like right now we are going to a holy event next week, and we are going to set up a booth, and we are going to have some children there, our children there, as well as adults who will be helping them. Like we are going to make like little holy color packets and passing them out to the community, whoever is coming to the holy event, so something like that. So we try to make our presence everywhere. And right now in April we are doing a 5K run in a local park. So we are selling tickets for that right now, both virtual and in person. So at this point, 150 have signed up. So we are still looking for 100 more. So we do that for more like an autism awareness run. That's what it's called. So it's going to be on April 24th. So if you go to our website and Facebook, you will see it all the time. So we kind of spread the news and we involve people. We try to make them come to our events. So this is like a public awareness event. We kind of say that we exist, we are a community, and we have this kind of special needs children, and we would love your support, either as a volunteer or a donor, whatever you want to support us. So many people show up to these events and they support us in the community.
So what are your future plans? Do you have any end goals in mind?
Yes. So the main question all of us have as parents is, where are they going in the end of all this? Like, let's say I'm old and my son is old and is not going to be living with me forever. So where is he going? So that question is there on all the parents' minds. We want them to have like a nice life and nice and independent life where they can make their choices and they can live by themselves. That is what every parent's dream is. I mean, doesn't matter even a typical child or special child, whatever it is. That is the hope for every parent, that they should be independent and they should have like an active productive life. They cannot just sit around slobbing and doing nothing, right? So all of us want to have a productive life. So our idea is right now, like, we are still working on it. We are trying to create, like, find a place, like an activity center or something, where a 22-year-old, once they get out of high school, once they turn 21, they usually are getting out of high school. There is no more services. So, and our kids are not really, most of them are not going to college. It's very hard. I mean, there is like life skills college, like in Georgia Tech, University of Georgia, and everywhere, but not every child is going to get selected for it. You need to have certain skill to get in there. So most of us have this driving question, like, what are we going to do? So that is when we came up with this idea of, okay, how about we have a center where it'll be like, we'll have like continuous engaging sessions, vocational training, as well as like, yoga sessions, fitness sessions to keep them active, and maybe do some gardening, do some music and art sessions where some of the kids who are interested in art, they can do some art and they can sell it in the same building. And maybe some cooking sessions where some, if they are really well trained in the cooking, some of the kids can do the cooking and cleaning and probably sell some of the food there. So what we are trying to create is a vocational job training slash activity sessions, whoever fits in wherever. We will try to based on the kid, individual kid, we can develop a program and we can put them in, and we can circulate them based on the need. Like, a person who learned cooking this week can do art next week based on the interest. So if they seem to have that skill and their interest, is there a way that we can make this center work and sell these things to the outside public, where the public can come in and talk and engage these children. Actually, I mean, when I say children, it's more like an adult, honestly. So individuals, I'll call them individuals. So though they can come in and they can interact with the individuals, and they can probably buy some things or just go around talking to them. So that will be like a good way for our individuals to meet the community, and they can be part of the community, and they will be contributing to the community, not just have a life where they are just going to be alone without any friends or anything. So it's, if you have like a community there, we have like, let's say, I don't know, 20 to 30 individuals in that setting. So they are all friends with each other, and they look forward to meeting each other every other day. And they also look forward after the school ends. They look forward to get up and move themselves and get ready to go to the center and do some activities which kind of help them, mentally as well as physically, to be active and productive. And they can all, in turn, they're also contributing to the community by cooking or cleaning or doing something productive. And they can be happy that, okay, you know what, I'm doing something every day from, I don't know, from 9 o'clock to 5 o'clock every day, and then I go home and I get to relax, just like all of us, right? So that's the whole idea behind Pure Hearts right now. So we are trying to drive that activity center. So if at all we don't get it yet, we will probably do like a rental and try like a model to before we go something big. That's the plan.
What are your, I mean, given the future success that your organization has, what advice do you have for young students on how they can empower their peers who have autism?
That's a great question. So you guys usually would have seen special needs classrooms in your schools, right? I mean, most of you have seen special needs children, or maybe they are your neighbors, they are your relatives. So basically, I would love for my son, from my son's angle, I'm telling you, like even if somebody can come and play basketball with my son, or do some artwork with my son, or play a board game with my son, something like that really will make go a long way for our children, because they are usually smart, but the thing is they are intimidated when someone who comes along as more brilliant than them, the more language than them, comes along and they keep talking constantly, and they kind of wanting him to play according to the rules. So he wouldn't really comply very well, he gets scared. So if you can understand and get down to their level and kind of like, okay, whatever sensory behaviors they have and all that, you kind of be patient with it and kind of engage and keep trying, being patient. Like, I don't know, maybe a few days of playing a board game, you will see a lot of difference. You will definitely see that the fifth time you're doing it, the kid is slowly trying to understand that, hey, you are actually making an effort to play with me, I'm going to also equally make an effort. So I know it takes a lot of patience and understanding, but it also comes from both sides. I understand that some kids, based on their sensory behaviors and other things they have, they will take a little longer, but it's not like they are incapable. They're really highly capable. Just a matter of time for them to warm up to you, I would say. And actually, you guys are the best people than us, in my opinion, because you have that young blood and you have a lot of active energy and you have a lot of brilliant ideas than us, honestly. So you kind of can engage them at your level and kind of get them to do activities which we are not able to, honestly. And if you can volunteer to any other of the local organizations you have who is helping the special needs children, that will be great too, because see, we always, I just told you, a lot of our activities are done by volunteers. So right now, the table tennis session, every kid has an high school volunteer with them, most of them. So at least we have like 5 to 6 high school kids every week, so that they can play and interact with the children, and they kind of help them hand over hand sometimes, depending on the situation. And they kind of come there, like, oh, we have enrolled for 10 weeks, so all 10 weeks. So what happens is, there is a bond which happens between this child and the typical child, right? So they kind of get along and they know them by name, and then they start playing. And even our own children, our own individuals, they will look forward like, oh, this guy didn't come, that guy didn't come, what happened? So that is the kind of bond I'm talking about. It comes with repetition. Our kids cannot learn the first day. It's going to be very hard for them. So if you keep really pushing it over the period of repetition, a lot of repetition, that really helps. So the kid actually looks forward like, oh, okay, why didn't this guy come and play basketball with me? What happened today? Something like that. That is the bond I'm talking about. So it's about showing up and being patient and understanding them from their angle, and of course take the parent suggestion. Of course, they are the best in this anyway. They know their own child, and maybe the therapist can help accommodate how to really interact and help him or her. So depending on what the child needs and what the child can do, you can kind of engage him in some of the activities you do, that will be a huge help for the parents as well as the child, because then they get to break out of their own shell and they can come out and interact with the community. Slowly they will get that encouragement and some kind of like a mental power, like, okay, you know what, now I can actually go and talk to other people as well as play things with other people. So that is more like an empowerment, right? What you guys can do for that child as well as that family, that'll be of huge help. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate what you guys are doing. I want you to keep doing it even after you get out of high school and college and everything, if you can. That is my humble request. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing. You guys really give us a lot of hope.